Thanks for watching out for me. You lot could have tossed me back in the shadows.
You're one of us. No fist left behind.
I'm glad that's still the case.
At least things have stayed interesting.
Your mind wants you dead.
How'd you survive it?
Faniel. I had to
A curse lifted. The dead three allied once more. The balance shifts. There are depths to this alliance yet unplumbed. Consider, mortal. Do illithids possess souls? No. Nor canst thou count mind flayers among them. Yet, the three amass an illithid army void of apostolic souls that could imbue them with power. A flock without souls, yet to what end, mortal? This is the question thou must come to answer. Until such time, be availed of my services. Where matters of balance are concerned, I am eternally cold. Yes, Bane, Lord of Darkness, Baal, Lord of Murder, Merkel, Lord of Bones. Once judged, ascended, then vanquished, as one, and as three. The Alliance is reforged, mortal. The plains thus quake, and the gods shudder. No.
Like your mind wants you dead.
How'd you survive it?
Faniel. I had to look after him.
You did it. Catherick Thorm is no more. The Shadow's grip is broken. Soon, the land shall heal. Not as glad as I am. Nature moves at its own pace, and bestows its bounty when it sees fit. Give it time. A reward shall come to you, when you need it most.
In the curse. More horrible than you can imagine.
One problem at a time.
Try me.
Zevlor, with such high hopes for you, Hellrider.
Thanks for watching out for me. You lot could have tossed me back in the shadows.
You're one of us. No fist left behind.
I'm glad that's still the case.
Maybe we can pawn off some of the stuff we find. We could use the coin.
like your mind wants you dead.
How'd you survive it?
Faniel. I had to look after him. Without him, I wouldn't have lasted long.
What will we do once we reach the city? No.
Hmm?
One problem at a time.
Oh, you can't? You want me to try? Later.
I don't try taking y'all out.
In the curse.
You didn't want out?
Buddy had to.
Horrible
Buddy.
than you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Blimey.
Zevlor, with such high hopes for you, Hellrider. Maybe we can pawn off some of the stuff we find. We could use the pawn.
Thanks for watching out for me. You lot could have tossed me back in the shadows.
You're one of us. No fist left behind.
I'm glad that's still the case.
Alright, you ready to head back to camp?
You know.
Alright, let's head back to camp. Oof. Oh, there. There they are. Oh, a lot of people want to talk.
Yoda?
It's like
What you doing, Yo-Yo?
your mind wants you dead.
How'd you survive it?
Faniel. I had to look after him. Without him, I wouldn't have lasted long.
Use my one mouthwash up and it would help.
Your Will has a talk that he wants to have.
Gods be damned. With that parasite in his brain, Father could wreak untold havoc in the Absolute's name. Should Baldur's Gate fall to the Absolute, every one of the coast cities will be ripe for the plucking. We're not just fighting for our cure. We're fighting for my father. We're fighting for the Gate. We're fighting for all of Faerun.
I was gonna say number 3.
Yes, but first a question. If your home were under siege, what would you sacrifice to save it?
Boy, I don't really care for my fare for my place. I wouldn't give up my soul if that's what you're getting at, or give up my life. Your choice.
As would I. And more. I was 17. Father, older Ravengard, had just been named a Grand Duke and was called away to Elturel to help settle a dispute. That's when the cult of the dragon made its move.
Okay.
A religion devoted to conjuring the most evil of goddesses, the dragon Tiamat. A 10-day after Father left, I heard a whisper as I slept. Duskhawk Hill. The Queen of Chaos awakens. Go alone. I grabbed a rapier and set out. There wasn't a cloud in the sky, yet not a single star was shining. There they were, gathered at the foot of the hill.
Your head tingles. Will wants to show you what happened. In the looming shadow of the mount, 5 groups of 5 figures each encircle a lofty totem. Atop each totem, a dragon's head is carved, and a massive orb held in its mouth. The cultists chant, first softly, then crying to the starless sky. There is a crack of thunder, a gust of wind, and a dragon's white head appears in the storm.
That's much
The
better.
first of Tiamat's 5 heads. As the maelstrom howls, Missoura's lips press to your ear. She will destroy Baldur's Gate. Grant me your soul, and I will give you the power to save it, she whispers.
She read the terms while 2 devils stood witness. And I said yes. 1 soul for 1 city.
Yeah.
He returned to an unsuspecting city and a wayward son with a smirking devil at his side. I tried to tell him the truth, but my mouth couldn't form the words. I'd led him to the battlefield, but Missoura had swept it clean. After, he said only 1 word. Go. So I did. I had Missoura at my side, and the archdevil Zariel guided our hands that day. I burned with the fires of Avernus and oozed the rot of Dis. The cultists choked on our poisons and burned from our flames. And when we were done, all that remained were 5 grayed orbs atop a pile of ash. My soul was bound, and my lips were sealed.
I'm wondering too, but I'm also wondering
It
one.
is the one scar I ever bore of it. You were right, of course. The new eye is a sending stone, courtesy of Missoura. She uses it to track my location and call from a distance. I could flee to the spine of the world, or the depths of the lower dark, and still never shake her.
What you doing, Cora?
She didn't. She
Hey,
came
Yoda.
on order of her mistress, Zariel. Tiamat made a play for power. Zariel had other plans. That was the most Missoura's ever said. All that mattered was that she got her prize. Another pet added to her warlock menagerie. I don't know that it was brave. I just know that it was right.
Yo.
I understand.
Oh, you don't want to ask some of the other questions?
Okay. If you want.
Yeah,
The shadows
I want to
are
listen.
lifted. Finally, we can breathe free. No, never. He did the only thing he could. In his eyes, I invited a devil into our midst. I was a fool at best, a traitor at worst. And Grand Duke Ravengard suffers neither.
Ooh. Watch yourself. There you go. Come over here, Yoda. Cora and Yoda fighting for love.
Resentment is a poison on one's heart. The only way to avoid damage is to pour it out. And I went and proved him right. A Grand Duke's duty is to his city, first and foremost. There would only ever be one outcome. Orin, I'd never heard tell of, but Gortash I know. Or know of, more precisely. A self-styled strategic advisor to Baldur's Gate's peers. A bit player with dreams of a leading role, the way Father told it. He had no use for Gortash, and even less for his advice. I don't remember much beyond that. But where these Chosen are concerned, I have a suspicion we're about to know more than we'd like. Worm's Rock Fortress. All travelers to Baldur's Gate flow through it. It serves as headquarters for the Flaming Fist, and their commander, my father. The Absolute's army's on the march. Gods forbid a tadpole Grand Duke throw open the gates for them.
Yeah. God forbid is right. Karlach! What do you got, Karlach?
You saw Gortash, didn't you? What the fuck was he doing down there? Is all of this because of him?
Ooh.
The tadpole, the Absolute. How?
Damn is right.
He's feisty.
I'd never have protected a Bay Knight even a decade ago. I looked after that fucker with my life. I trusted him. He gave me away to Zariel without a second thought. And now he's looking to ruin the entire Sword Coast. He has to die. And I'm gonna be the one who kills him.
Well, I guess we know who wants to go into that fight.
He can't get away with what he's done. To me. To us. He won't get away with it.
Running hot.
Burning up.
Mm-hmm. Huh. What do you got to say,
The curse
Lizelle?
is broken and the shadows are lifting. In time, these lands will heal.
Wait, no, I think she wears heavy armor. I think Karlach only wears medium.
The disc appears in your mind's eye. Lae'zel sees it too and considers the vision.
Tirsu markings. Ancient. I recognize them, but I can't make sense of... No. Wait. The texts are enciphered, but I've solved the pattern. It's a story. About Orpheus.
Your head buzzes in concert with Lae'zel's, but it hardly matters. Even without the connection, you'd recognize her discomfort.
Githyanki writing. Every word a wheel, every letter a spoke. The most powerful texts are engraved in slate. Some so ancient, only the most erudite Gish can read them. Drivel, all of it. Gith declared Vlaakith Queen of the Empire, and her own son defied her. Orpheus would have ceded control to the Geich. You speak like Kithrak Voss. You accuse Vlaakith of the unthinkable. As unthinkable as the greatest living knight turning on his queen. Well, enough conjecture. I'm done with the matter.
Once again, your mind opens to Lae'zel, and she considers the disc.
More writings on Orpheus, the so-called Prince of the Comet. The Prince of the Comet, Part 3. The histories tell us that Commander Voss, Gestil Kithrak, pierced Prince Orpheus clean through with his sword of silver, that his flesh was torn and fed to the great red dragon Ephelaman. Vlaakith's faithful roar out this tale, but beneath the roars, we hear whispers carrying truth and prophecy. The Prince of the Comet is not dead. The Prince of the Comet will come again. The Prince of the Comet will liberate us from Vlaakith's tyranny. Praise be to Mother Gith, Queen of the One Sky. Praise be to your son, Orpheus, the true heir, Prince of the Comet.
Prince of the
This
Comet.
is more than a fable. It's an affront to the undying Queen Vlaakith. Gith's son died to Voss's blade. Orpheus is no more. It is not just improbable, it is impossible. Kithrak Voss and his red dragon slayed the fell prince. You could no more resurrect him than you could glue together the pile of ashes he became. My Vash taught that the silver bells of Vlaakith's court still ring out before every hunt in celebration of the prince's defeat. As a child, I longed to hear them for myself, and sing in praises to the deathless queen and her Kithraki. Tiamat's emissary. It was he who carried word that Mother Gith had negotiated the gift of the dragons, and that Vlaakith I would preside as queen of the Githyanki. Ephelaman remains the queen's consort to this day, as endless as the empire he now serves. Anything more?
Astrion, anything to say? I'm surprised you haven't gotten to talk to Shadowheart.
As a banisher of shadows before. I was always more of a lurker-in, historically.
Nothing in particular with Astrion. Also, you gonna talk to Helson and see if you can get further with him?
Thaniel rests well. He's healing very rapidly, now that Oliver has returned to him. I have. But perhaps there is more that I want. Anyway, once the curse is lifted, nature can take its course without me. I belong at your side.
There's more.
Not what, who. But all in due course. I knew I could put my faith in you. If only we had met sooner. I can't say for certain, but we'll see it come to pass long before this place recedes behind us. Don't worry. All is at hand. We can depart whenever you're ready. No more than my right hand can absorb my left. Oliver is helping Thaniel to recover. They both lie dormant, like trees awaiting spring. Once the curse is lifted, they can stand as one or as a pair. Whatever they wish. I hope they will remain as a pair. It will be good for them both to have a friend, once I'm gone. Still, I would like to return here someday. See Thaniel and Oliver again. In my meditations, or perhaps in person, if the Oak Father wills it. I hope he does.
Okay, well, I mean, you're getting closer. You wanna talk to... No, wait, I'm the one with Gale.
I think we've done rather a good thing here. A welcome change to gift this land a sliver of hope amongst so much despair. Ah, yes. Karsus. Karsus was perhaps the most powerful wizard that ever lived. The child who would be a god, the elves called him. And he tried. With a spell of his own devising, he endeavored to usurp in one fell swoop the power of the goddess of magic. Mistral, she was called then. Imagine what it must have felt like to be a god. To know yourself, to be untouchable, to be mistaken. As Karsus aimed his spell at her, she began to unravel, and with her, the entire weave. Too late did he realize what he had unleashed. It would have been the end of everything had not Mistral sacrificed herself. The goddess of magic is all magic. By dying, the entire weave was lost, and the spell that challenged a god failed. It was the end of Mistral. The end of Karsus and the end of an entire civilization. As the child who would be a god was turned to stone, his empire came crashing down around him. The floating cities of Netheril were no more. An event that came to be known as Karsus's folly. For a spell, Mistral was reborn as Mistra. Upon her return, the weave returned with her. Now, so many centuries later, I try to follow in the footsteps of Karsus. Not to destroy Mistra, but to prove my love for her. And try to control only a fraction of the magic that was unleashed that fateful day. I merely sought to return one tiny diamond to an imperfect crown. Gale's folly, one might call it. History, repetition. It's the way things go.
Okay. Wanna go talk to Shadowheart? She is right here.
Whatever it is, save it for now.
Oh, wait, maybe. Oh, wait, I know why. Hold on.
These lands will soon be free of Shah's grasp.
There you are.
You can almost sense it. If I was a bard, I might be tempted to draw comparisons between nature and myself, both shaking off Shah. But luckily for you, I'm no bard. If you're sure. Fine.
Alright. Go ahead.
Feel my voice rattle your bones as I proclaim our victory. Moon Maiden Selûne, hear me. Ketheric Thorm, traitor, apostle of Myrkul, is dead at last. My mate, Most High. Darling Isabel is safe and well. Safe and well, and return to my embrace. Blessings upon the slayer of the Wicked One.
The Moon Maiden?
Listen to the subtle vibrations of the Moon Maiden thumping within your heart chambers, friend. She works her magic there.
My darling Isabel says we will stay allied at your side. I am pleased to hear it.
And she's still covered in blood.
Pray, ask, and I will